Hello, everybody. We have come to my last movie in my Stephen King Halloween-a-thon, and it is going to be the 1986 movie Maximum Overdrive, the one written and directed by Stephen King because his philosophy is if no one can do it right, you must do it yourself. Because he really, for about 95% of his movies or his works that were made into movies at this point, he did not like them. And that is how we got Maximum Overdrive. Maximum Overdrive is a crazy movie. It was made by Stephen King when he was in his coked out of his mind days. And it shows. And I know that Maximum Overdrive has quite a cult following, especially now. And I can really see how it has this cult following. The trucks, the ACD soundtrack to it. It's hyper stylized. So it lends itself into a cult movie, so bad it's good type of status. And Maximum Overdrive sets itself up in a ridiculous tone, starting from the first scenes, really. The cameo by Stephen King himself, where he is getting money out of the ATM machine. If you don't think he can direct, acting is not his strong point either, but it's done in such a ridiculous, over-the-top way that if you're leaning into that cult status, that ridiculousness, it works. And Maximum Overdrive is the movie where its machines come alive and start killing people. And this is loosely based on a Stephen King short story called Trucks, very loosely. There's a prologue at the beginning where it says that the Earth goes through a tail of a comet in 1987, and this is how this, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks of mayhem starts, and it really centers around a group of people surviving the machine apocalypse in a truck stop and what they do to beat the machines. And a lot of it is trucks. Your main hero in this movie is Bill Robinson, played by Emilio Estevez, as in the glory days of Emilio Estevez's career, thick in his Brat Pack era. And you have Pat Hingle, character actor extraordinaire, playing Hendershot. He is the owner of the truck stop diner place. Really not a great guy in this movie. And you have ultimate cool girl, 80s cool girl. How do we know? She wears a leather jacket and she wears a hat and she has this tough exterior, you know, like all 80s cool, tough girl, is the character of Brett, played by Laura Harrington. Then you have Yeardley Smith playing Connie. And yes, she is Lisa Simpson. You have John Short playing Kurt. You have Holter Graham playing Deke, the young teenage kid. And Frankie Faison is in here playing Handy. You even have a very small part by Giancarlo Esposito. He plays the video game player who gets electrocuted to death. And a small part by Mia Maples. Yes, ex-wife of Donald Trump, Mia Maples. So this ragtag group of people end up at this truck stop diner, and they are the ones battling the machines. And yes, this is yet another Stephen King movie produced by Dino De Laurentiis' company that was shot in and around the Wilmington, North Carolina area. It is even, the beginning scenes are Wilmington, North Carolina. They don't change the town's name or anything like that. It is actually there. Speaking of Yeardley Smith, who plays Lisa Simpson in The Simpsons, one of the episodes of The Simpsons plays like an homage to Maximum Overdrive called Maximum Homer Drive that was aired in 1999. It features a plot where Homer takes over a truck driver's delivery and finds out his truck is controlled by an onboard computer. And further about Yeardley Smith, she has always said she is embarrassed by being in this movie. So, speaking of Stephen King directing, this is the one and only movie of his work that he ever directed. He's never directed anything since, and if you ask him why he hasn't done that, he will tell you just to watch Maximum Overdrive, so he doesn't even think this is a good movie. And it had been long rumored that George A. Romero ghost directed a large portion of the film, while Stephen King was seeking treatment for his cocaine and alcohol addiction. And this is noted because he did spend a lot of time on set, and certain shots are reminiscent of him. I don't believe it, because I think if George A. Romero did direct a large portion of this movie, it would have been a better movie. The only thing that Stephen King has said that maybe one day he'd like to try to direct something sober, but that has never happened. The truck stop in question in this movie is called Dixie Boy, and it's not an actual place. It was a place constructed for the movie about 10 miles outside of Wilmington. And they did use a lot of local trucks in this movie just to get enough trucks. So some of the scenes you'll see logos for companies that are actual companies in that area. And the only interesting bit of casting I have in this movie for this movie is, so Emilio Estevez was cast as the main hero character, but that's not who Stephen King originally wanted to play the character of Bill in this movie. He originally wanted Bruce Springsteen, and you can really see what he was thinking by the way that Emilio Estevez's character looks, how he dresses and everything. That was the type of guy he had in mind, but unfortunately we never got the Bruce Springsteen version of Maximum Overdrive. And also Gary Busey is said to have been interested in making this movie also after his experience working on Silver Bullet. Of course, that didn't happen. A highlight of this movie is probably the AC/DC soundtrack. If you're one that likes AC/DC type of music, Stephen King was a big fan of AC/DC. He offered them to do the soundtrack of the movie. They accepted. He even offered them parts in the movie, and they turned it down because to them, they weren't actors and they did not want to do that. So if you like AC/DC type of music, this is the movie for you just for the music. And probably one of the things that lends to its cult status, which, like I said, I understand its cult status. The trucks in this movie, the Green Goblin truck itself, is very iconic. There's a bunch of iconic things that happen in this movie and a bunch of ridiculous things that happen in this movie. But all in all, Maximum Overdrive is not a good movie. It's definitely, for me at least, not the type of so bad it's good movie that you could watch over and over again. Trying to re-watch it for this review was painful to me. I mean, I watched original. My dad is a huge Stephen King fan, so we watched almost every movie that was ever made from a Stephen King book, even this one. And yes, it's another one that we rented in the mid-80s after it came out and was available, and absolutely none of us liked it. The people that made it don't like it. Stephen King is embarrassed by it. It is probably just mortifying to some of the people that are in this that it is such a cult hit. If they make their rounds at all of the Comic-Con type stuff around the country, they have to deal with there's a large fan base of a movie that they themselves don't appreciate. And yes, this would be the first Stephen King movie that was made during that era. And I've talked about the era of the 80s Stephen King movie with a few rare exceptions where they weren't that good. And this movie falls into that area and where they keep getting diminishing returns for the movies that they put out. And by and large, the movies made from Stephen King works by Dino De Laurentiis and his companies. This is the first one after he bought Embassy Pictures that he produced. And this movie had a budget of $10 million. It's not even including the marketing budget. And it makes just over $7 million at the box office. So this is the first losing movie, and there is a reason for it. This movie is not that good. I'm sure after these 40 years and it becoming a cult favorite probably makes money now. I mean, I can see how it's a fun movie for some kids to watch during that time. I can imagine the people who watched this on a home video and when they were young and just were enamored by this movie, and mainly probably the trucks in this movie. They are iconic, especially the Green Goblin truck. But I do think of all of the lure and this being the only movie that King wrote and directed, and it being the reason why he never directed again. All of this surrounding it, the iconic soundtrack, the iconic trucks in this movie, the so bad it's good nature of it does make it a required watch, especially for any Stephen King fan. Just to say you've seen it, for most people, but I'm sure that some people will watch this and enjoy it. I am just not one of those people. The fact that Stephen King at this point was a major alcoholic and drug addict really shines through in the making of this movie, or the end product of this movie. There has been rumors of this being remade also, and I think it would be interesting to remake this movie just to see what you could do with this concept. But then it's become such an iconic cultural phenomenon these days that I don't know how a remake of this movie would do. It'd be an interesting thing to see. You'd have to get the right director, a better script, because I love Stephen King, but it just doesn't seem like him being involved in, the only one involved in the script or directing or anything is a good move for his works. But maybe with maturity and the lack of addiction, maybe he's better now. Who knows? I don't know if we'll ever see that or ever see a remake of this movie, but it might be interesting for Maximum Overdrive. But thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed my series of Stephen King Halloween movies or Stephen King spooky movies that I did. Like I said, this is the last one. I think this is a good one to end on, the culmination of mid-80s Stephen King movies that didn't do that well. Started out strong in the 70s and very early 80s, and then just fell off a cliff during the mid 80s. But thank you for joining me. If you like movies as much as I do, consider subscribing to my channel and also leave a comment. I like getting back to everybody's comments, and don't forget to hit the like button and give me a thumbs up on this video. But my name is Stacia, and I'm just a person on the internet that loves talking about movies. But I love you all. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.